Hi everyone, thanks for coming through to this video. Today we're going to do an acrylic painting of the hat and scarf set you can see on the screen. We have already done a watercolour and we've already done a pencil drawing. Now it's time for acrylics. So all you're going to need today is some acrylic paint paper. Excuse, I've been mixing paint and I've got black all over me. You need some acrylic paper or even a canvas, whatever you want to do it on. You'll need, I have used cerulean blue because I am going to create a blue set of hat and scarf, but you could have any colour scheme. You could go for purples, pinks, yellows and greens, whatever you want. The last one, as you see, I did yellow and green. This time I'm going to do a range of blues. So I've got cerulean blue itself, then cerulean blue with a little bit of white, then cerulean blue with a lot of white, and then with a little bit of black just for shadows and highlights. Okay, so I will probably use titanium white at the end to add some highlights. So I'm just going to dig that out so that I'm ready with that. Stick that in the middle. I use mixing white to mix up my colours and the titanium white for finishing highlights. So as you can see, I've already drawn it out. You can get the downloads of Traceable to draw it out from my web, well, actually not from my website. If you sign up to my website, I'm having a cup of tea as well. And I suggest you have a cup of tea too, because this should be nice and relaxing. Pop some music on and enjoy the process. Yeah, so you can go onto my website, H-A-R-T and design.org.uk, and you can subscribe to emails, and every time I produce new sets of traceables and learn to draw instruction sheets, I send them out to you by email for free so you can follow me along. However, if you're watching this and I've already sent them out, you can also get them by clicking on the community tab and scroll down to find the last time I loaded up the ones that you want. They'll all be there somewhere, you'll just have to keep scrolling. So far I'm on my fourth set. I've done summer, fairies, Christmas, and this is winter. So just having a quick swig of my tea. Let's get started. Now, feel free to pause, stop, sort out getting your traceable. Just leave me sitting here and I shall get started. I think I'm going to come in with that mid cerulean blue. So it's the one where I've mixed quite a lot of cerulean blue with a little bit of white. And that's going to be my base colour, okay? Now, my first layer, because I'm using quite student grade paints, my first layer is going to be a little bit transparent because they don't have quite a thick, they don't have a thicker consistency. Do you know what? I think I'm just going to do the whole of the hat, that mid, because then what we can do is come in and change it with our darker value and our lighter value. So let's just go for it. I am still painting in a way that's in the direction of what I'm painting. That's really important. So any strokes that are seen are kind of guiding the eye in the right direction. I'm adding a bit of water to my brush now because I can feel that it's getting dry and we need some movement, but try not to add too much. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still using my brush in the motion of what I'm painting because I definitely want to get the feel for the direction we're going in. Don't worry too much now about any gaps or anything you've missed, because this is just the first layer and we're getting the base coat down. Okay, I'm going to go in and do the same, I think, on our scarf, because what we'll do is we'll do the same kind of thing where we'll lighten some strips and we'll darken some. Now, as you can see, even though I'm just putting the base layer down, I'm still making sure I'm going in the direction of the scarf, because it will automatically create that feeling of direction that the scarf is going in. Okay, I'm using the angle brush, that's my preference, but you don't have to. But it does help with things like this that have straight lines, because you can just go up and down and keep those lines nice and tidy. Okay, so I'm going to do the bit that's curled here, where the scarf curls, and then I'm going to come down from that top bit. You can see already that because I've done the base layer and I've been thoughtful about my strokes, that it's already creating some dimension and some depth. Getting some more water, getting some more paint, and we can finish off that bottom. Did put too much paint on then, but we can finish off this bottom one again by going in the direction of the scarf. It helps to give that directional feel. Now these activities I do and all the others you'll see on my channel, they're meant for fun, they're meant for some mindfulness art, they're meant for learning some skills and practicing your skills on. They're really good for things like your journals. You could do smaller versions, you could change it, you can have patterns and change the colours and add things in, add some welly boots maybe. Whatever your need is. It's kind of just a starting point, a prompt for you to go away and explore and do your own thing. These are my designs, so you can go away and use them however you want personally, but you can't do anything with them commercially because they're my designs and I will be using them commercially. So they are copyrighted to me. They are logged on the date that I designed them as being my designs. So yeah, but obviously use them as much as you want for your own projects. That's what they're here for. Right, so I'm going to come in now and do the gloves. Again, I'm just going to have to mix a little bit more up because I'm losing that colour a little bit. There's not so much there. And then when you have mixed, because you've already mixed one colour, you have to really make sure you're matching it up. So that's the difficult part. I always try to mix enough, but I misjudged because at the time when I mixed it, I wasn't thinking about the fact that I will go over the whole thing. But actually, that's what I want to do. Oop. Because then, once we put down that mid value, we can go over it and it's made easier for us because the whole thing's got a layer. Don't forget to turn it round to get into the bits you want to get into. You could also give it a background of some kind if you want. I might do that at the end and just go round everything very carefully. Some people like to do a full background first, then draw what they're drawing on top. For the sake of doing this tutorial, I'm just painting what the design is from the sheets. But yeah, I might come in and do a background at the end. We'll see. Right. So again, with the gloves, I've tried to go in the direction of the hand. So it'll be coming across like this and sweeping up and round. And this will also be going up, but then the inside bit won't. All right, so that's pretty much all drawn out for the base colour. I need to do the same for the bobble. So I'm just going to come in like that. I'm using the point. I love these brushes. They're great for all sorts of things. And I'm kind of going in the way that it would be, messily and bobbly, and yeah. So even now, even though I haven't done anything, you can see that there's a scarf there, there's gloves there, because I've gone in the right direction and made it look like that. Okay, so now we're going to come in with a smaller angle brush and start to come in and do some of the detail. And I'm going to do each strip of the hat and each strip of the scarf. And take it one at a time. So I'm going to have a darker blue on this side, but I want it to blend in. So I'm going to blend it in with the lighter colour at the same time. Okay, and also that is going into the darkness, so you kind of want it blended in a bit. But because I want to have it like the cerulean colour, I need to make sure I've got some more on this side of that strip as well. Notice how I'm moving my paper around to support me with that. Coming in with a lighter one as well so that I can blend it up and into the rest of that strip of hat. So that's my kind of darker strip. Okay, so I've used the darker colour on the outside edges and the mid-tone on the middle, and I'm now going to come in back again with, I'm mixing over here, that lighter colour in the middle, just to lighten the middle of that strip up a bit. Can you see? Because it was darkened a bit too much. Right, so now the base colour of the next one is fine because that was the mid-tone that we put down. And I'm just going to go over it again. I think my brush even now is too big. Let me look for another one. I don't want it to be too small, but I want to be able to get into those little crevices more easily. Let's see if that one's any different. This one is slightly smaller, so we'll go for this one. Let's see. It's on a smaller brush as well, smaller handle brush, which I like when I'm doing detail. When I'm trying to go in, and it's easier to be nearer if you're doing finer detail. Right, so now I'm coming in with a much lighter version around the edges, not around the edges, around the middle, because I want this one to be much lighter. I think what I'll do is I'll put some titanium in that, and that will help lighten that one up. There we go. Okay, so it's a lighter one, a darker one, and I'm just going to keep going along with that. I think I'll stick to the lighter one now that I'm doing it, and I'll go ahead and do the next one. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to make sure I've still got some of that mid-tone around the outside edges and the bottom as well, just to make sure that's well coloured in, because we don't really want any of the white paper showing at the end. Then, oh, which one did I just do there? I meant to do the next one, didn't I? That's why I wanted to do it step by step, so I didn't make a mistake. All right, I'm coming with the cerulean again, outside edges. Then we're going to come in with the much lighter version, and we're just going to come down the middle of it like that. Okay, that one isn't light enough, so I'm going to go into my titanium white and lighten it up in the middle like that, and just keep blending it in until you're happy. Okay, so the next two are the ones where I'm coming in with the dark and blending it across to the middle. Like so. And then we're going to come in with the lighter version and come down the middle with that lighter version. So what we're doing to create this effect is making sure every section has darker edges and a lighter middle, like that. But you can clearly see the difference in colour. So we're just using value really to create the dimension of this painting. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to pause quickly because there was somebody at the door. Right, I'm now going to come in and do some of the bubble, and I'm literally just going to come in and put some of those dark shades down, and I'm going to mix in some of the white, the tiny white. I'm actually mixing it on the page because you can get some really lovely effects by doing that. Can you see? Love it. And because the bubble is pretty much a right mixture of colours, it's a nice thing to do. There. Okay, so I mean, we don't really need to faff about with that too much. That's the bubble done. So with these videos as well, I need to remind you that I do kind of make it up as I'm going along. I don't prepare these, so don't expect like these perfect, pristine, finished pictures, because they're literally, this is my first go, and I like you to see what that looks like. And you should see really how my brain's working, because that is how you learn. I'm just going to blend that one round. I'm just trying to create like some smooth colours with the variations in their value, with the lighter bit being in the middle, to give it the idea of like that puffiness feeling of, hopefully it's giving that, the puffiness feeling of the different sections. I hope you're enjoying this. I really hope you're relaxing, and don't be stressing over it. It's just fun, isn't it? Art for me is although it's my job, it's my relaxation as well. And I love the days I tutorial, because they're generally the days that I only get to paint these days, because I am running my physical businesses as well, and the links to those are below as well if you want to support me with that. I sell physical art products. Just mixing some white in on the page just helps to give it a little bit of a little bit of depth there. I'm going to blend it in better. There we go. Just trying to make the inside of those much lighter. Okay, so I'm going to go in now with the darker colour again. And we will be going over all of these sections anyway. Once we've got this kind of second layer down, the third layer is just about refining what we've already done. I might just get some of that dark and make that really dark at the edge. It's kind of the end of the hat there. So hopefully you can see it coming together now. There's still lots to do. But that's the idea. We're just going in and doing the different strips. Some darker than others. Let's do this one dark. Now you can't actually... I might actually keep the scarf just one colour and just... yeah, I think I might do that actually. But just really make it nice and blended with all the different values in. Let's do that. I quite fancy doing that, because the last one was stripy. Let's just do a plain one. That's the thing, as I say, with my designs. You can change them and add things and do what you want. There's not enough paint on my brush there, so I was trying to do something that you can't do when you haven't got any paint, which is paint. Right, so I've gone over my cerulean blue mid-tone, and now I'm going to come over again whilst that's still wet and draw in that dark colour over the top. I'm going to make sure that it's blended so there's no brush marks, like that. And I'm just going to bring it down as well, maybe around the edges, and try to buff out that sharp edge there, because we don't really want to have that there. So we've blended that in nicely and created that colour. And we can come in with some of the lighter one kind of here as well on the top, because that just creates where the light is maybe shining. It's only a slightly lighter mid-range, slighter. You can hardly even see that, but we'll come in later with the final one. Now I'm going to come in really dark around here, and I might even get that dark black I had, just to show that that is where it's folding over. Okay, so that's darker than any of the other colours there, because it's just showing where it folds over. I'm going to come in with just the cerulean blue on its own, which is our darker kind of colour that we've been using. We haven't used the dark that's got the black in it. Okay, and here we need that shadow anyway. I'm just working generally with the shape of what we've got here, no specific order. Then I'm going to come in with our mid-tone again and bring that down. I think I might stop using the mixing white because it's so transparent. So you've got two types of whites. You've got titanium white, which is really thick and opaque, And you've got your mixing white, which is quite transparent, but it is great for mixing, but it can be a bit too transparent and doesn't really mix the colour that you're looking for. So I'm going to go in now with some titanium white and that colour, and now you can see that's a bit lighter, so happy with that. Okay, that's better. And then we'll blend it in again with the dark coming in. What I will do is come in with the really dark under here, but we're just going to do like a little line of it going underneath, so that it's just creating that shadow underneath. You can go past. Hang on 1 minute. Sorry, my son's just asking me a question. Okay, so sorry about that. My son needed help. He's off sick at the moment. He's been literally sick. Okay, so coming in with the darker cerulean and just kind of blending that dark out. That's our shadow. And now you can see how that flap there is creating a shadow. I think I actually need to come in with the dark here, here as well. And I think even here it could be darker because there's things over the top of it that's creating that kind of darkness. So we'll do that. Okay, so just blending that in a bit more. Get some more of that mid-range cerulean. There we go. Whoops, we're going off the page. Sorry about that. Right, so if we're going to do it one colour, we can just keep going with all the different shades of blue that we have and creating those shadows. So under here, I also need that shadow. And that looks ridiculous as it is like that, but don't forget we're going to blend it all in. Let's get some more of our mid-range. Make sure there's enough of that and it's the right colour. I'm mixing as we go now just because I've run out of my colours. That looks like that might be a bit too light. Get more blue on there. I think I need my actual cerulean. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and I'm just going to bring that round, guide it round, and mix in that dark as well. Okay, get a bit more of that dark. We don't want to lose it completely, but we're just bringing it in, and it really helps with that shadow. Okay, I think what we need to do is get our cerulean on its own and really kind of bring that round to show that that's coming from over here and curling over. Let me just get a drink. My throat's starting to hurt. As I'm looking at that, I'm realizing I really need dark here. There, that helps to bring that, and you can sort of see that it's separate. Right, sorry about that. Children things today. I'm getting interrupted left, right and centre. Okay, so that's good. I like that. Let's get our mid-range again and try and blend that round so that we've got a bit of light on top. Great. The same here. This will be a bit lighter here on the edges because that's where the light is. I'm actually going to turn it upside down and bring the lighter colour around. What we will do is come in with our actual highlights at the end. I mean, really what we're doing now is just trying to get the sense and feel of our scarf kind of folding over. Once we've done that, we can come in with our final dark colours and light colours when we're done. Hopefully you can get the idea from there. Right, I'm going to turn it sideways because I want to come in with that darker colour from here, because we're going to come around and down, but we're definitely going to have a darker shadow there because it's underneath that the top of the scarf. I'm coming in with a cerulean over the top to blend that round. Okay, try and keep a nice edge. I've got very textured canvas paper, so you can probably see the texture there. So now I'm coming in with some more of that mid-range cerulean. Don't want it to be too light. There we go. I am mixing with my brush, which is a no-no because you tend to end up with a lot of paint on your brush, but hey, don't worry too much. As I say, these are meant to be fun activities for you to do. Bit of mindfulness time, nothing too serious. Something to put in your sketchbook, or what I do is I put all mine in like a clip folder. And I put punch holes in them and then I file them and date them. And of course I've got all of the YouTube versions. So I've got quite a lot building up. Okay, now I can see here there's quite a lot of transparency going on and I can see the paper underneath and I'm not liking it, so I'm coming back in again to try and blend that out. Now it's doing what I call sticking, which means it's you have to wait for it to dry now. It's getting sticky. So I'm going to come back in on the hat now. No, I'm not. I am going to do the gloves. So let's do the gloves next. I think I'm going to come in with that mid-tone cerulean again to do the thumb. We really need that clearly marked out. What are you doing, Jake? Sorry, let me just pause that again. Okay, yeah, so getting some of that mid-tone in, we're gonna draw in our fingers. As you can see, try and pull them back in. They were quite pale there and disappearing, so we need to pull those back in. I'm going to turn it this way because I feel as though that would be easier. Right, so I'm going to bring in just a little bit of lighter shade of that blue. Okay, and I'm just going to pull that round the centre of where that hand is going to be. So I'm literally nowhere near finished with that, but I'm going to stop there because I don't want the paint to get sticky. We don't like sticky paint. So now I'm going to do the end of the hand there. I might put stripes on that, seeing as how the hat is. And I'm going to come in with the darker cerulean on its own. There we are. So I'm just doing the end of the glove and making that a little bit darker. And I'm kind of coming underneath the base of that and kind of darken that up as well. Okay. But it looks too blocky because I haven't blended it in. So just going to blend that down with the next colour. It's too dark. We don't want that. So lighten it up a bit. We want it dark right underneath the base of that, but we don't want it dark all the way along. So that's fine. We've done it like that. So the next step is to come in with the mid-tone again and just really shape our fingers again on this one. I'm going to do it to the side because I think that will just help me bringing those back to life. There we are. Okay. And I'm going to pull along. Make it a bit lighter on the top. Okay. Slightly darker here at the puffy bit on the end, because that is kind of tucked in underneath where the scarf and the glove meet. Okay, so I'm going to come in with the cerulean blue here, and I want to kind of show that that's a bit darker on that side. Remember as well, this isn't practiced. I'm doing all in front of you. All my thinking, all of my mixing, and just seeing what happens. So again, I think I should come in with a really dark, deep line here. Let's have a look, that's not showing up as dark. Let's mix in a bit of the dark. A really dark blue that I mixed some black in, remember at the beginning? Yeah. And blend that down. There we go. Because there's a bit of shadow there from the glove that's kind of above, we need that. And I'm going to come in again with a bit more right at the very end. And again, just kind of, I'm tickling it over the paint to blend it in. I want it to be quite a dark line there, but I don't want it to be overpowering. I just want it to look like a little bit of shadow. I don't want it to look like the glove is actually that colour. There. Okay, now we're going to need to do the same, and I think what I'm going to do is just come in here on each of these fingers on the edges and just scratch in a little bit of shadow on those fingers. Okay, there's another finger there. So now you can start to see where the fingers are coming to life a little bit. And we need a little bit of shadow here because that's underneath the other glove. So hopefully you can start to see it coming to life. We like that. Fingers that are looking as though they're real and they're 3D. I love that dark, but we do have to just pull it back out again with some of the cerulean so it doesn't look too dark. And I think here, I think that thumb actually needs to be light rather than dark. So let's go in and make some really light blue now. Start thinking about popping some of the highlights in. Definitely think that needs a bit of highlighting. And then the same with the tops of the fingers, like, so that makes that look a bit more real now. And then I think we'll come in with a little bit of lighter colour there. And then also on the glove in the middle. Okay, so that also starts to bring it to life. I'm going to come back in with that dark a minute because I feel as though like we're losing that finger there, that definition of that finger, and I want to kind of make sure that's marked in. Let's get some of the cerulean. There we go. That's looking a lot better. I want to make sure that it looked like it was a little finger down there. Right, so I'm coming in with some more whites, lighter. Just in the middle like that. I need to start pulling out the fingers like I did on the other one. Hang on a minute, I've just spotted that there's a gap there. We really don't want that gap. Okay, so let's think. So I also need to come in here and just do the markings to show that that's coming out a little bit lighter there. It's like really dark around the top edges, but then And then I think I'm going to get some cerulean on its own and kind of just give this nice curvy feel to the tops of the gloves. Now this one I think already has quite a bit of dark on, but I'm just going to add a little bit more and maybe come in with the darkest dark and really dark that up, and then we'll put highlights on at the end to kind of shape it a little bit. I think we've lost the shape of this one. Let's just, I think it's kind of, it's looking a bit awkward. That's it. I mean, not that it matters, you know, we're just doing it for fun, but it felt like that was not right. So we'll have to come back and adjust that in a minute. Right. So the hand, we need to come in now with the darkest dark and kind of create shadows on the upper fingers. Okay, like that. And then make sure there's a shadow here between the thumb. Now we can obviously, you know, it looks like a very stark line, but we can come in now and adapt that with our cerulean blue mid-range. Maybe the actual cerulean blue might be a better option, and just pull that up so that we have the definition, but it doesn't feel like a completely stark line. Hopefully you can see that I'm just blending it in. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. And again, coming in with some of the cerulean and blending the thumb around and down. Starting to look a bit more like gloves, isn't it? I think I might just want some more of that dark just to really bring that out. And yeah, happy with that now. Okay, so I think the little one up here, like the little finger there, I think it always needs to sort of be a bit longer. It makes it look more like it's a little finger. So I put that there. Okay, so we've done basically our base layers for everything, but so now we need to come in and really start to finish off, darken things, lighten things. So I'm coming in with my cerulean blue around the edges of my darker ones, and I'm going to be a bit brave this time and just make it look as 3D as possible by really having a difference between the lights and the darks. We want it blended, but we also do need that difference, the contrast. Okay, so I'm coming down with my dark cerulean and here as well around the edges and certainly from the bottom. It almost looks like I've got rid of all the colour there, but I seriously haven't, don't worry. On the camera it looks like that, but it's not. And we need quite a bit there. Coming around with our dark here. Need to make sure we've got some at the bottom there so that it really stands out. Okay, mid-range cerulean. I'm just mixing some more up. Nice. Okay, make sure I've got that right. And I just want to come around. No, it's too light. It's too light. A bit more. Because I'm trying to just blend that dark in. I don't want it to be too much lighter. Otherwise it's going to take the dark away. There we are. That's better. It's the contrast that just really does make a painting. It's important to get that right. Okay. So now I want to come in with quite light on the light ones. I really need to bring some lights in around the bottom, so I'm just going to come around. Still don't think that's quite light enough. I want to really bring in some light to the white parts, to the white parts like that. So I'm just touching in some titanium white. Okay, and I'm bringing that in because I really want to have some shine. Not shine, but just where the light might be with our light blue. Okay, we already had quite good light colours up there. And then I'm coming in with some of that white to really lighten it up. Okay, I think that was a bit too light back there, but hey. So I quite like to mix my colours on the page because then you get some really nice blends and some kind of natural accidents. Yeah, like that. I think I need some more of the titanium white almost on its own, just in the middle, creating some nice light. So I'm also going to come in with that and add in, we kind of lost a lot of the normal cerulean, so let's bring that back in as well, and we're just making it fluffy. Let's get some of the dark as well. That just brings in and creates some depth. Okay, so it looks even fluffier now. Right, so now we really need to come in with our light colours, and we're really going to come in where anything's sort of bent over and shining the light, reflecting the light back, like the top of the scarf there. I think also like towards the end here, we want to have some of those highlights in, but we only want them sort of slightly blended. We don't really want to ruin the hard work that we've put into all of the blending that we've done. Okay, this can be different, this can be a bit lighter because this is the bottom end of the scarf. So I'm blending it in, I'm using the mid-range cerulean to come back down. That's better. And now I'm just going to use a dry brush to kind of blend the whole thing in, get some more cerulean, darker, to bring that back down. The blending is really important because you can really lose the effect. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go into the white, and I just want to go along and put some lines in with the white, like that. Don't be too uniform, just dot it here and there everywhere with your brush, and that helps to give that some, you know, difference in value that really helps to bring it to life. And the same here, you can do little scrapes like that on its side, or you can do the longer lines, it doesn't really matter. And down here. Okay, and I'm going to come in with some lines. Be brave, you won't ruin it. If all else fails, you can just go back over it again. And then I'm going to come in with a mid-tone and kind of split those up again. We don't really want it to be overwhelming. And I'm going to come to my white, and I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy with it. Yeah, I think that's okay. It literally just needed a little bit of that light shining on it, didn't it? I think it could even go a bit further up on that one. Yeah, okay. So now we're coming down to the other part, which is the same. We need to really push in some lighter colours now. So I am going for the mid-range here to make sure that we've got that all blended in nicely. Yeah. And then we're going to come in with the lighter, which I think should be from about halfway myself, and then let it drift off towards the end. Yeah, it's not too overwhelming. I haven't added in the pure white yet. I'm just adding in the lighter blue and kind of giving it, again, it gives it that depth, that fact that there's light and dark. Need to come in with some black and a cerulean here, because actually there'll be shadow here, won't there, where the gloves are. You see what I mean? Yeah. Right, so now for the white, I'm going to come in with mostly white, tiniest little blue, just because that's on my brush really. And we're just going to make some marks going in that direction with our white. Yeah, it just gives it a little bit of sense of light hitting there. And I think we need to do the same with our gloves, kind of where the tops of the fingers are, just draw little lines. And the same for here on these, just draw little lines. And I'm going to go do quite a, I'm going to smudge that in a bit, do quite a thick line there. Okay, then I'm going to do the same with the ends of, like the gloves, the ends of the gloves there. That one I wanted to put right, didn't I? So here goes. I'm going to make it so it's straighter. I didn't like the shape of it. More even. Like that. That is better. I am happier with that. Okay, so let's also then get the black in, like the dark blue, black mixture, and get some coming in here. And we'll get some of that cerulean blue, maybe mix it with a bit of mid-range, and oh, that was not meant to happen. Kind of like it though. We've got like lots of different kind of stretched out colours there now, and depth of shading, depth of value, so that's good. But I have to finish it properly, so something worth doing, do it properly. I was always brought up with all these funny little sayings. I don't tend to say them anymore to my children though. Just seems to be something that's passed. Right, coming back in with that dark to kind of lay that down. I just really want to get that bit right. And then we'll come around here and it's a bit lighter. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of coming here as well, then going back under. Yeah, that makes more sense now, so that it looks like it's folding. I think it makes sense to the eye. Yeah. Okay, so again, I just want to come in with the white and really put in some very, very bright white highlights, really small ones. I might come in the dark and just add some more little lines like that. That also helps to create a nice effect. You don't just have to do it in those light areas, even within the dark you will have some light shining on, so don't be afraid to do that. What time is it? Oh, I better go. I need to pick up my son from school, my other son. One's home poorly, as you've heard, and the other one is at school and needs me to go and get him. I think I'm just going to come in here. That's not very white. I really want it to stick out as being white, bright white. Yeah, like that. I really want some bright white lines now, in different places, because it helps against the darkness to really make it pop. Get some more. Try just to get a little bit on the end of my brush so that I can just do my lines. And come here and just do a few that are really, really white. And don't forget to be, you can put them in the bit where it's not so white, like up here. It will still be catching light a little bit. I think we're done. Let's put some bright white in there. Let's put some bright white in the bobble. Also want to put some here because that still doesn't feel like it's white. That's better. Okay. Let's get that all dried. All that's left to do now is to pick up some of the paint and draw some tassels on. I forgot this on my other watercolour tutorial, completely forgot all about the tassels. So I'm using some of the dark blue first, just to give it that bit of background. Then I'm coming in with the cerulean on its own. Just want to make sure that there's a good range of all the blues, because we've used all the blues in the picture. And some more here. And then we can come in with our lighter one. And really just pull that down. It's just nice to finish off, isn't it? And the tassels aren't even really needed, but I think it is nice to finish off with. And I'll get the white, and we'll come in as we did before with our white highlight. It's always good to have some white in there. Okay, maybe there's a bit too much white. It's taken quite a lot of the blue away, so I'm going to come in with the dark again over the top and just do a few more, and then we're done. Right, all done. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, this is part of the winter theme, which I'm going to be doing for January and February. These are all perfect for scrapbooks, for sketchbooks, for journaling. You could do them smaller, you can add things, you could put patterns in. As you can see from the original drawing on the screen, there was so much patterns, and it's great for when you're drawing to add those in. But when you're painting, you don't necessarily have to. We have nice yellow green here in watercolour, but you see I forgot the tassels. I might add them on in a minute. And there's our version in acrylics. So thank you so much for coming along. Please subscribe, notification bell. You can get the download, which will look like this, from the community tab. And to be able to get all of the new ones as and when they come out, subscribe by email on my website, heart, HART, and design.org.uk. I hope to see you there. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.